Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Carlos, and welcome back to On the Needle. So, as promised, I have two vinyl reviews for you this week. The first one that I did was right after the Earth, Wind, and Fire and Ozzy Brothers Versus. Earth, Wind, and Fire is the Volume 1, the Best of album. And now I'm back with another band. So, I'm not sure if you all guessed it from the hint I left on the last video, but I basically said that it's another popular male band that I was reviewing today. So that band is Red Hot Chili Peppers. So for those that don't know, Red Hot Chili Peppers is one of my favorite groups. And if I had to pick an album of theirs that is my favorite, this one would probably be it. This one, I would say, probably in their greatest hits too. So this is Blood Sugar Sex Magik. Like I said, I'm just a really stickler for album titles and concepts and things like that. And this is the album cover, so it's pretty cool. So it's kind of like whichever way you turn it, you see a different member's face and this like little weird tongue rose action thing that's going on. And you think about Red Hot Chili Peppers was formed in 1983, I believe, and this album came out in 1991. So when you think about that, this was their fifth album, and in 1991, I feel like this is really their breakout album. And if you ask like anybody that's maybe a diehard fan of theirs, this is really the album. Other than I would probably say maybe Mother's Milk as well. But this is really the definitive album, I would say, of Red Hot Chili Peppers. They have some other ones too that I have and that I really like, but this one is, yeah, it's the jam. I'm gonna be honest. When I first got into Red Hot Chili Peppers, I didn't know much about them, but I heard the song "Give It Away," and I was 6 or 7 years old at the time, and the guitars and the rap rock combination, which is funny because years later you have people like Limp Bizkit that kind of, I think their style was birthed from Red Hot Chili Peppers, and even you can say Rolling Stones too, actually. Um, and I think Red Hot Chili Peppers, though, they made it cool in a way that hadn't been done before. Um, and yeah, Give It Away, just this album off the strength alone of Give It Away, I mean, it's just classic in my opinion. Which is crazy because really that single was really kind of a slow burn for them. And as far as on the charts wise, it wasn't like a number one hit or anything. But a lot of the fans started to like it. So it was more of a fan favorite, I'd say. Now, Under the Bridge, which was the second single off that album, another one I love. More of a slow song, kind of more draggy. Actually, it's one of the outliers, I'd say, of this whole album because this album is conscious, is full of like sexual innuendos. You have songs like "Suck My Kiss," that's one of my favorites. And even in songs like "Give It Away," there's like little innuendos they kind of sneak in here and there. And Rick Rubin, the legendary Rick Rubin, produced this album. And the production and the care and meticulous detail that went into making this album, I feel really, really can be appreciated more so on vinyl, which is one of the reasons why I picked this one up on vinyl because just the instrumentation, the vocals, everything. Anthony Kiedis, I love his voice. It's just one of those unmistakable voices. Interestingly enough, Nirvana, their Nevermind album, which I have that one as well. Um, this album and Nirvana's Nevermind kind of broke out around that same time frame in the early 90s. I mean, I don't know, maybe because I grew up in the 90s, I just feel like there's such a golden era of music, but I feel like it really is because there was so many different artists, um, even in the same genre, who were big artists, but they didn't have to compete for the spotlight. I mean, you had, you know, when Red Hot Chili Peppers were hot in their heyday, not saying they aren't now, but in the prime of their popularity, You know, you had Red Hot Chili Peppers, you had Green Day, you had Smashing Pumpkins, you had REM, Nirvana, like I mentioned. All of those groups are legendary in their own right, and they all kind of had their own lane. And I kind of felt like Red Hot Chili Peppers were kind of like the fun guys that you probably shouldn't hang around, but you felt like, you know, they were probably going to be the ones with all the alcohol, maybe a little bit of drugs and stuff at the party. Actually, interestingly enough, Rick Rubin was proposed to do their album. I think it was Mother's Milk, or it was one of the previous albums before Blood Sugar Sex Magik. And one of the reasons he turned down the opportunity was because he didn't want to get involved with Anthony Kiedis and his, drug addictions, things like that. So all stuff which he's talked about in his memoir, things like that. But I think just the dynamics of the group really just made for a better album, in my opinion. One thing I love about this album too, and why I feel like it's so timeless, and you think, 1991, here we are in 2021. So this album is 30 years old, and there are certain songs and elements on here that still ring true today. They have some songs that talk about social injustice, racial injustice, some of the same things and struggles that we're fighting for and about today. So again, just a test of time. And I'm not really a big karaoke person, but I would say if I was, Give It Away would be probably my go-to karaoke song, or one of them, I'd say. So curious to see what you all think about this album, Blood Sugar Sex Magik, Red Hot Chili Peppers. What you think about the group? What are some of your favorite songs from that group? And, what do you think about that era of music that they came up in, where it was so competitive, but at the same time, everyone had a chance to really shine in their own way, versus now it's like everyone's fighting for the spotlight, and if you're number one, you're number one for like a week, and then it's somebody else. So albums back then really had a chance to make a lasting impression. I think this album, as far as in the US, has sold, maybe like in upwards of 8 million copies of, hell, I don't know, it could be diamond by now, I don't know. But and not to say that the record sales are everything, because they're not, but I just think it's a testament of their artistry to be 5 albums in and still pulling those kind of numbers, or not even really still, but to break those kind of numbers, because like I said, this is really kind of like their breakthrough album. But yeah, let me know what you all think about it. Blood Sugar Sex Magik, Red Hot Chili Peppers. And thanks for tuning in, and I will see you all next Friday.